All right, Nader. So, welcome everyone to Thriving in the Digital Age. This is basically a webinar series. What we want to do is we want to show people that the digital age is not as scary as everybody, let's say, thinks it is. And what we want to show people is that we can also thrive and we can also create new opportunities. By the way, if you see something that's dark and seems like a tail, this is my cat. His name is Blackie. Uh, he'll probably be joining us for the webinar. I hope you're into cats. If you're not, then hopefully you have a nice dog somewhere in the house. So let me start by introducing ourselves. First of all, my name is Ovidiu Drumia. I'm an enterprise agile coach. I've been doing this for a while now, since 2013. So can't believe it's been this long. I come from a Java developer background. So for the people that don't know programming, basically this is a web developer, server developer type of profile. What turned me to agility was the fact that I switched companies at one point, and in one company there was a lot of stress, a lot of overtime, and we were always late, always delivering poor quality. And in the other company, we were kind of no more intelligent, no more what is it? No more wanting to do a good job type of people, but we were just organizing a different way. So that's when I realized that problems in operations in general don't come from the people in operational, but come from how we organize operations. So this is one of the big reasons behind turning into agility. So after that, I've become an agile evangelist, if you want to say, if you want to put it this way. So with this being said about myself, Nadar, do you want to say a couple of words about yourself also?
Sure. Hi, hello. My name is Nada Talai. I'm a business agility consultant. Started my agile journey back in 2002, and I will also be presenting part of this webinar. Just a couple of housekeeping for people to be aware of that we are recording the webinar. If anybody has got, I mean, the cameras are off, but if you got, we'll turn the cameras on later on when you want to ask questions. And if you don't want to be on camera, obviously don't turn your cameras on. Other than that, thanks very much for joining us in this one of three, at the very least three. And then there is the surprise, which the video is going to tell us all about.
That's what I wanted to say. Don't forget about the surprise, Nader. So do stay until the end of the webinar. We do have a surprise for you. Hopefully, it'll be something that you guys like and enjoy. And well, what also I want to mention is a little bit about our companies, right? So for those that came from the Bucharest meetup, Bucharest Scaled Agile meetup, this is one of the many, hopefully many webinars we're going to do inside the community for the community. But other than that, uh, it's one of the initiatives that ourselves. I'm a representative of AXP Academy, but also Nader, who is representing Value Glide, um, wanted to do. We want to really show people that um, there is a way to organize in an agile way, and um, there's so much good that we can do just by thinking a little bit differently about the way we organize in our day-to-day job. Uh, so, Nader, do you want to say a couple of words about Value Glide?
Uh, yeah, yes, Valley Glide is a business agility consulting and training and advisory firm. We have a group of specialists. We have all been doing this for most of us decades. So we are here to help, and we're collaborating with AXP. on this webinar and other initiatives. So
Yep.
let's get into the webinar. So people are waiting for it, I guess.
Okay. Just a couple of stops, right, before we deep dive into the bread and butter of the webinar. Just as a friendly reminder, this is the first episode of a 3-episode series, right? So this is Project Overruns. It's run today, and in next month we will have Making the Invisible Visible. So this is part 2 of the series, and the last, but basically this is actually the cherry on top. It's what is slowing down your organization. So next month we will be entering into the arena of how can we see the work that's being done inside our organization. How can we actually have a grip on what's going on? And on the 24th of June, we will see what are bottlenecks, what are the things that are really not quite clicking in the way we're delivering value to our customers. Nader, anything you want to add to this?
No, that's it. Thank you very much. Yes, no, that would be great.
I've done a tremendous job, huh? So,
Yes, you have.
So one of the things that we want to know is what is your opinion, as in what would be something that you would like to have answered today. So if you have a QR code reader, do scan the QR code. It will take you to a web page where you will fill in a question, an answer to a question. So what would be one question that you would like to be answered today? Natar, can you also help us with a direct link for the people that don't have, or maybe
I
Pooja?
think all cameras, pretty much any camera these days will do it, but I will share the link as well in a minute.
Please also share the link. So folks, 5 minutes to do this. What we want to do is we want to engage with you, we want to have some interaction, we want to see who you are, what you're thinking, and how can we best answer whatever question you have in mind.
The link is in the chat.
So the link is in the chat. It's a Mentimeter page. We will definitely share with you the results. Pretty exciting. So remember, either scan the code or just click in the link in the chat and do type in what question would you like to have answered today. So today's webinar subject is project overruns. So we're going to deep dive a little bit into what makes organizations act slowly, not being able to be agile, to be nimble. I reset the timer. It was somewhere here. So how are those questions coming in, Nader? Are we good? Are people active?
They're slowly coming in. We've had not enough responses yet. So come on, guys. It's for you as well. It will help us.
what we want to make sure is we answer each and every one of the questions that you guys have, so that today will be a very successful webinar.
So if you just joined, either go on the link through the chat or scan the code, and please respond to the question. What is the one question you'd like to be answered today?
So just a little bit under 2 minutes.
Okay.
Are we getting those questions, Nader?
We've got basically we've now got minimize handoffs and reduce overruns, or different words for that, you know, delays, overruns, keep to the time scale. Yeah.
That's really nice. That's really interesting. We will definitely have answers for those. Just one more minute, and then we're going to really kick it off. All right, last chance, guys. 30 seconds. Put your questions in, and at the end of the session, we'll definitely do our best to address them. 10 seconds left. Boom. Okay, I say we move on to the next. So our agenda for the day.
We have,
yeah.
Now we have a few more coming in. Okay. How can we best influence stakeholders? How can we keep a good allocation of agile teams? What can a small team do to compete with existing huge lean machines, I guess.
That's a really interesting one.
What to do when you have an old style product owner, read project manager, I guess, that wants to rule everything. Okay, over to you. Let's go.
Okay, those are very good questions, guys, by the way. Yeah, go ahead. Nada.
No, I said thank you to the people who responded.
Yeah, thank you. We'll definitely get into some of those. Those are very yummy questions. I can definitely tell you that. So the first part of the webinar is already done. Basically, you have put in your number one question, and we will do our best to address them. For those that we're not going to do in this webinar, we're probably going to do our best to answer them by email. So what we're going to really do today is we're going to examine what's happening in a typical organization when we want to do an initiative. So how are we what are the steps to try to make sure that an organization goes from where they are now to the vision, to the next step, right? So this is what we call projects within organizations. And the second thing is, okay, how do we start this? How are we going to make sure that we will have an organization that will be agile, that will minimize the waste when trying to create a new initiative? And then we're going to look into alignment. Alignment is definitely something that is right now missing in organizations, and we're going to tackle that a little bit. Then we're going to go into the role of leadership in having adaptability, and last but not least, we're going to walk through some of the next steps. So let's say you're in an organization and you have this brilliant idea. It will definitely bring you more customers. It will definitely create a lot of value for the market and for the company, and you want to start it. So the first thing that you do is you go to an investment board. So you have your idea, you run it through a business case. You want to go through different people aligned with architects, with different functions, with different decision makers within the organization, to make sure that they support the project and they support the idea, and that your idea can become a reality. Then you have someone that's doing the analysis, and then you have a couple of steps until the release. So basically, you have the idea, and then there's a lot of alignment and a lot of waiting for this idea to become something that's really, really valuable and really materialize this idea. So basically, the basic assumptions that organizations today have is that work actually goes easily from one step to the other. So basically, you would have an idea for a project, you would do some prior analysis to the project, you would try to make it happen, to execute on it, execute on the idea, and then you successfully launch the project and everything is amazing, and your customers love your product, and they would definitely love a second version. But the real question is this really, really realistic? Is it realistic to really think that we can plan how long projects take? That's actually a very good question, and it has been asked for quite some time now. It's been more than 20 years, or 20 years since the Agile Manifesto has been into place, and it's been more than 20 years since people have started to ask themselves this question. But basically, what we're doing right now, especially in huge enterprises, we're running things as if we can know upfront how long things take and what would be the effort for that. Now, my question, especially for the people that are running into this mode, is um, how well does this work for you? I mean, can we really, really plan upfront how much projects will take? Especially if you're talking about big projects or projects that are, um, let's say, involving a lot of effort and a lot of people and a lot of synchronization. So, how has this been working for you? Nader, also, if you can share in the chat. Yeah, perfect, perfect. So we're really excited to hear your thoughts on this.
Just need a couple of minutes on this, please. Just send any responses you have.
So how has been your experience trying to figure out how much workload is within a project? What would be the timeline?
think we can move on. So we got challenging, not so well, and doesn't work for me, and words to that effect. So basically, those are the three themes that are coming through.
Yeah. So this has been more or less what people have been experiencing within organizations. It's certainly what I have personally experienced as a developer, but later on also as an agile coach. Every time when we were thinking that we would have a project that we know exactly how much it will take and how much effort it will be and um, how much money it will cost us. Basically, we were dead wrong, right? Nader, do you have the same experience or a similar experience?
Yes, I mean we know that software development is not knowable up front. When we're developing software and building sort of cyber physical systems where we got hardware and software, we cannot know up front how long it takes. Although everybody wants to have that certainty, and we pretend that we can estimate it and plan it up in advance.
It's definitely a challenge, right? But basically, the real question is if we know that that we cannot really do it up front, why do we do it then? That's actually the real challenge. However, when we look at this, hopefully everybody is familiar with it. This is called the project management triangle. So we have three axes on which we can judge a project: its scope, cost, and time. And basically, what we've seen is that this doesn't really work. So usually the problems that we're seeing in organizations is that um, even though everybody is busy, everybody's doing a lot of stuff, even though we don't deliver a lot of releases per year, even though we do our best to have a high quality type of product, um, we're still facing late delivery. So even though we're not delivering that fast, even though everybody's doing a lot of stuff, and well, we try to have the best quality ever, we still don't manage to achieve our deadlines. Uh, More than that, what we have is, because we want to stick to a very fixed deadline, and we want to stick to a very fixed scope, we also sometimes do what we would call shortcuts. And these shortcuts are usually in the quality department. What we see is that there is a lot of pressure on the people that are doing quality assurance to actually release earlier, to make sure that they um, help us achieve the deadline, not hinder us to achieve the deadline. Um, but this makes for a very poor quality type of product. And what we also see that a lot of people have a lot on their plate. They're doing a lot of things all of the time. However, when we actually analyze the processes, we see that most of the time what they're doing, they're waiting for stuff. We see people that are actually trying to figure out what's wrong, but what's wrong is usually not in our department. It's usually in someone else's department. And one of the big things that we see in organization is that we don't really know what are the priorities. We don't really know what we're supposed to be focusing on so that we are efficient. That's one of the things that we see that organizations, especially large organizations, have in common a lot of the time. So when we look at the actual flow of work, this is more or less what we kind of envision. So we have the idea, we will make sure that we um, double down on the details of the idea, and then people get to work, and everybody after that is happy, and we have launched a beautiful product. However, the problems in this picture actually come at the boundaries of these, let's call them steps, right? So whenever there's handover, whenever there are new people coming in that uh, need a little bit of induction, basically this is where we get a lot of wasted time and a lot of wasted effort. So it's not really in the steps themselves, but it's also in the boundaries between the steps, and also in the waiting time between these steps, um, because people are fully utilized, they're not able to pick up stuff as soon as it becomes available to actually uh, work on. So that's one of the big things that actually hinder organizations right now. And one of the things that we definitely recommend people is try to make sure that you understand what business agility is. This is a fundamental transformation, and this will definitely make organizations either thrive in the digital age, or if they don't manage to understand business agility and they don't understand how they can deliver large scale software, especially large scale software, then they will probably not be able to survive, or they will definitely see a huge shrinkage in their market share. Um, so, what would be the common challenges facing companies? Basically, they're not able to release as fast as they want to. Their employees are not happy, their customers are not happy, and they're definitely not happy with um, the quality of the products that they're delivering. Nader, do you want to take it take it
Okay,
on? I think
thank
this
you.
is your cue.
Okay, thank you.
Do you want to share the screen? Do you want me to stop
Yes,
the
I
share?
will do. I will do.
Okay, I'll stop the share.
Yeah. Have you done it? Have you stopped sharing?
Yep.
And let's see. So hopefully you can see my screen.
Yes, we can.
Okay, so you can see my presentation. So as Ovidio mentioned, so the challenge we have is that we believe that software development or cyber physical systems, we can know in advance how long it takes and what sort of effort is required at every step. And then furthermore, what he showed us, the organizational structure that we have creates both handoffs and delays because we have misaligned priorities. And also the thinking that we have, we are applying the thinking that was designed for the age of manufacturing and mass production into software delivery. So that doesn't help. So what we need to do is to have organizational structure that allows us to have agility, be able to respond to change quickly. And what we want to do is have a delivery structure that is not a hierarchical structure that provides slow decision making into a flexible network structure where teams of agile teams are working together, all aligned to solve a customer need, and they can react quickly and meet the customer requirements and needs. So in order to do that, we also need to accept that our new ways of working need to embrace the fact that we are at the edge of our knowledge and we are navigating through uncertainty. So it's not about knowing everything up front, it's knowing the fact that we can discover what we don't know as we take steps. So we take small steps and we learn from it. No, and it's all about hypotheses rather than, certainty of a project plan. So we have hypotheses that we believe if we do this change, these good things will happen. We know we are on the right way. or on the right track when we see these early signs and the leading indicators, and that's what we want to do. And we're going to measure our success towards our learning, how fast are we learning, and how quickly we're adapting to what we're finding and learning, as opposed to are we delivering on time, on budget, and cost. So one of the things that we need is foundational, if you like, requirement is for the leaders, for the leadership and the leadership to lead the way and lead by example. And they need to coach and grow their teams. In order to do that, you need to know what the new ways of behavior are, and then you need to be practicing it. Leading by example means, as this quote from Mike Rother is, what patterns of thought and action are you practicing and reinforcing every day in your organization? Because it's about your actions and behaviors that people will watch and follow, and if you like, you are the influencer. So if your actions are not aligned with the new ways of working, then there's a mismatch. If you say one thing and do something else, then we are not going to lead to success. So a video already mentioned that the next webinar is about making the invisible visible. So if you're interested in attending that, please go and scan that. And then we'll see the surprise a bit later on as well. So knowing what to change is not enough. We need to know how do we start, or where do we start. So where do we start? We need to know what is the problem we're trying to solve. So change for the sake of change is not enough. So there must be a reason for a change. So we need to understand, why are we changing? What is the problem we're trying to solve? And we need to think big and then act small and learn fast. And then we need to say, okay, having defined the problem, where shall we start? Okay, so we need to start small. And then having defined the problem and defined the area that we want to start with, we need to say, how do we know we've been successful? What are the measures which will tell us that we are going the right way? Of course, the destination is not fixed, but there must be measures which tell us that we are leading we are moving towards the right direction. So let's have those measures, and then as we take steps, we can see whether we're getting closer or further away from where we want to go, and we adapt. Okay. Having new ways of working, having the problem and the direction, and if you like, the North Star is not enough. We need to teach people, educate people in new ways of working, because it's fundamentally unfair to expect people to work in a different way without first showing them what it is that they're supposed to do. And finally, last but not least, is all about learning quickly, amplify what's working, dampen what is not working, and put that learning into what the next step should be. If you have any questions, please shout. Otherwise, I'll go to the next slide. So we know the problem to solve. We have defined measures, and we've got an area to start. But we now need to have two kind of alignments. One of the issues we have with most organizations is that it is difficult to see how the work we are doing aligns with the organization strategy. And from a executive or CEO or whatever leadership, also it's difficult to see why everybody is busy but we're not delivering on our strategy. So we need to align, and the alignment we will achieve in two ways. One is a vertical alignment, if you like, which is, what is our strategy? What are the objective and key results that will show us how we're going to achieve that strategy at a very high level? So call it strategic themes or high level OKRs. And then we need to say, okay, how are we going to deliver these OKRs? And we will have some hypotheses, and we'll capture those hypotheses as large initiatives, which we call epics. And again, we understand and accept that we are navigating uncertainty. So we're not going to build a large initiative because it's only a hypothesis. What we're going to do is say, okay, what is the minimum thing we can do in order to validate or invalidate our hypotheses. And we call that the epic MVP, which is the smallest step we can take in order to validate or invalidate our hypotheses. Then the MVPs are too big to deliver within a team of teams. So we break the MVP epic into features and the features into stories. So we get our alignment of work or vertical alignment that way. So we got our strategy all the way down to OKRs, initiatives that deliver it, and stories that teams are working on. So we get our alignment of work. And now we need to sort of also say, okay, that's good, but how do we, and here's an example, just in case people want to see, okay, what does that look like? This is just a visualization and it's only an example, okay? So that doesn't mean that this is the only way to do it, but is a way to visualize. We have a strategic objective, accept cryptocurrency payments in Europe. And then we've got to create an additional 10% of payment revenue through cryptocurrency by 31st of December, and some others that you can see, provide customer cryptocurrency accounts by June 30th, so on and so forth. So these are some results. We may break it down into some quarterly objectives, and those will also have some results that are aligned with the quarterly objectives. We then may have, and then we break those into initiatives, into features, and into, and then the features will be, if you like, flowing. They'll be either implementing, and then once they're done, we'll be releasing and validating the hypotheses, because until we give it to the hands of customers, we don't know, we cannot validate our hypotheses. So that's what we do. And what we achieved here, you can see the alignment. So at every stage, we can see the work we're doing. How does it align with the initiative? How does it align to the feature? How does the feature align to this initiative? And how is the initiative aligning with the quarterly results that we're after? So each objective may have a handful of key results, 1, 2, 3, or less. Sorry, you want to say something, Video?
I just wanna build a little bit on top of that. So basically, what we want to have is, we want to have the view of what's going on, and sort of understand what is the status of the things that we're doing within the within, let's say, the higher overarching strategy. I think that Sobia asked to see the other slide a little bit, the first one.
Okay. Sorry, going the wrong way. Hang on 1 second. This one.
No, this one. Yes.
This one. Okay. Is that, can we unmute people so that they can talk? Can we just let them speak?
Nice. It's a thank you. So
is this the slide you were asking?
No, I was looking for the one before there where you were mapping initiatives. Yes, this one.
Yeah.
Okay, got it. Thank you.
I thought you were asking. So basically, we got our strategy, and then we've got some OKRs or strategic themes in SAFe, we call it, that align with that, and then we have some. Then we have to have some work items that actually deliver that. So these are our portfolio epics and the MVP epics. All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Pleasure. So this is an example that we saw. It's only an example, of course, we can have others. And this just shows that, at the team level, also the stories will align to features. So at every level, we can see how the work we're doing is aligning with achieving the results that the organization is after. Okay. So that's how we align the work. Now we need to align ourselves as teams of agile teams, so that we are aligned on a common customer need, in order to make sure that the teams that we have got all the skills they need in order to build, define, build, deploy, run the solutions that we're delivering for our customers. So what we do this, if you like, this is the horizontal alignment now, building our cross-functional teams of teams Now, you could ask, what is this different to a project way of working? So the difference between a project ways of working is that we form teams around a piece of work. So a project comes, then we go out and we form teams to deliver that project. And this way of working, we've got our teams of agile teams that are long-lived and mostly stable, and we just have work that flows through it. So our job, if you like, in some ways is easier, because what we're doing is what is the most beneficial work that can go through this team of agile team and deliver the best value for our customers and for the organization. So that's the key difference. So these teams of agile teams are mostly stable. So we've got our vertical alignment, we've got our horizontal alignment. How about leading? So we need to also be leading for adaptability, because a change happens and things are not static. We are moving in a, and we are, if you like, we're at the edge of our knowledge, and we are navigating on uncertainty. So one of the big challenges that we have as leaders is that there is a lot of demand for our attention, but we have limited understanding of our delivery capability. We are very busy doing daily firefighting. We have lack of clarity on roles and responsibilities, which basically means that we are very busy but not very effective. And that causes us to make promises we cannot keep because we don't know our delivery capability. The daily firefighting causes poor quality and stress, and we have low engagement and lack of ownership. So how do we address this? So it's okay, so this is the problem, how do we address it? Well, what we need in our new ways of working is ability to improve the flow, have a way of prioritizing work so that we're working on the most beneficial work. We also need decision making that is decentralized. We need to have measures that tell us how we're achieving our goal. We need to have problem solving, way of problem solving. Problems happen, problems occur, and we need to, rather than just putting a bandage on it and ignoring them, we need a way of solving those, as well as leadership. Of course, leadership is the foundational stone of everything we do, and we need to have our leadership in there to help. So is there a way that we can do that? So Scaled Agile Framework provides us a framework which addresses the challenges and the method that we are after. So we manage flow through smaller batch sizes, visualizing the work and limiting the amount of work in progress. We prioritize the work so that we have clarity on why we sequence the work in the way we sequenced it, and we've got alignment across all teams using the same way of prioritizing. And we take an economic view, meaning that we are always working on what's the most beneficial work first. Decision making is about making economic trade-offs and also decentralizing the decisions. That's why we remove some of the delay involved in that. Measurements, we have measurements of flow, which are time to market, throughput, cycle time, quality. We have business measures to say, how are we meeting our customer needs? And we have our PI predictability, which says, as a team of agile teams, when we set our objectives, how well are we achieving our objectives? And problem solving is a key part of SAFe, and our inspector that workshop that happens at the end of each PI. On a regular basis, we're looking at system-wide issues that are impacting one or more teams, and then we're doing the root cause analysis of those issues that are affecting us and tackling them. And we put the work and the effort and allocate the capacity in order to tackle the root causes. Okay. And leadership is the foundation. Everything starts and ends with leadership. And it's about leading by example. And leading by example means, as we said earlier, it's about knowing what to do. First of all, you need to have humility. You need to acknowledge that you don't know these new ways of working. You need to learn. You need to have empathy and self-awareness. You need to be self-aware of what yourself. You need to have empathy with your peers and colleagues, and you need to grow your team. You need to challenge and grow them. And then you need to lead the transformation. So that's what you need to do. So this is SAFe, the SAFe big picture, or a scaled agile framework, a SAFe for short. So SAFe will actually deliver everything we talked about. So let me just see whether I can get, oops, that's not what I wanted to do. Sorry about that. I wanted to get my pointer. Oh, okay. So it's got me to go to the Scaled Agile website. Not quite what I wanted to do, but fair enough. This will do. Can you still see my screen? So the vertical alignment that we talked about is about portfolio epics into features, into stories. So this is the vertical alignment of work, and that's all aligned with the organizational strategy. So our strategy, strategic themes, go into a set of backlogs. So we got that vertical alignment. The horizontal alignment that we were talking about is this team of agile teams that are all working with on the same mission, the customer need that we're trying to solve, defined as a set of features for the solutions that meet customer needs. And that's what the Scaled Agile framework provides us. Any questions on what we've covered so far? I guess the answer is no. Okay, so next steps. What is next? So the next step is about the next webinar, which is making the invisible visible. You can sign up now. You can scan that code, and the first 10 will win a 15 minutes free 15-minute consulting session with us. That is with a video and myself.
So this is actually the surprise that we had in store for you guys. Nader, maybe you can also put in the link for the guys that don't have a QR code. Maybe you can also put in the link in the chat.
Sure, I will do that. Let me stop sharing my screen.
I will share the screen for you.
Yep.
Just a sec.
And I will go and get the link.
There it is, guys. So for the next webinar, we're going to actually go even deeper into this. Okay, now we have the basics on. We know we want to thrive in the digital age. We know we want to make sure that we're doing something different, that we're not going to have delays anymore. Okay, how do we see what's happening actually in operations? This is the second step usually after we really face it that what we've been doing until now is no longer what we should be doing. So the surprise for you is you can have a 15-minute conversation with myself, with Nader, and get into the specifics of your company, really get into asking the questions that you want to ask us. And you would not do in a public setting.
I've just shared the link on chat as well, please. If you don't have a scanner or a way of scanning, that the link is in the chat.
Perfect. Thank you, Nader.
Pleasure.
So one thing before we finish the session, actually, maybe we can go through the questions. Yes, we can.
Yes, we can go through the questions. Yes.
So there's a question from Sobia now. Talk a little bit about how to push advocate this change in a large organization. What's a good start? Nader, do you want to have a first go, and then I can
Sure.
also give my stab on this
Where
question.
to start? So I think we had a slide on it, and maybe I went through it a little bit too fast. But what my recommendation is that there must be a need. In other words, there must be a problem that you need to solve. If there isn't a problem that needs solving, then don't do it. Don't do anything. So identify the problem that needs solving. And the problem, if you say, oh, my organization wants to transform to be a digital native, that may be too big to start off with, depending on the size of your organization. So having decided on the problem you want to solve, then you need to do the start small. What is the small thing we can do so that we can learn fast from how this change we're doing? And then define your North Star, your perfection vision, if you like, and then a set of measures that will tell you that you're heading the right way. So what is success? What would success look like? And it's not going to be, that might be things like, we will see more customers satisfied. We will hear more stories from satisfied customers. We will have happier staff. We will see people more smiling. We will see our time to market reducing. We will see the quality go up. So those are the kind of things that you will see. And then so having defined what a perfection vision is, having defined the measures and the small step to start, then we can start. Then we can take the steps towards moving towards the end state. But you need to think big, start small, and learn fast. So that's what you want to do.
Yeah, I see that Sobia said frequent releases would be a first goal. Yeah, that's definitely very important. What you can also consider is what Nader said. So frequent releases is a good organizational goal. However, it's not necessarily a business goal. So what is the why behind the frequent releases? Okay, so why do you want to have frequent releases? That can also be a question that you would answer. Also, I would add definitely a big plus to think big and start small. Another is very good uh, um, at showing people the truth through metaphors, but also you need to make sure that your organization is aligned, so that a lot of people from the organization are actually with you and not against you. That's also a big thing. Um, so that's why one of the first steps would also be to make sure that you guys know what you want to go for. Do you want to go for SAFe? Do you want to go for another type of agile thing, etc.? Yeah, from our point of view, basically we definitely love SAFe, but to each organization its own, right? Nader, anything else you want to add?
No, I think you've covered it. And of course, other people, if there's anything you want to add, ask, please feel free. And we've got other people on the call who can also add to it. If anybody wants to add anything, please feel free.
Maybe because we have 2 more minutes left.
Yep.
Maybe we can pick one question from the questions that the guys had in the beginning. Which one would be the most interesting, would you say?
Well, it's not about which one is the most interesting. The questions that we had were,
in the interest of time, pick just one.
Okay, so one was minimize the handoffs.
Okay, that's an interesting one, actually. So when talking about minimizing the handoffs, I'll just give you my practical experience on it. Basically, you have individuals and interactions over processes and tools. This is what the Agile Manifesto tells you. So how does this look like in practice? Well, try to think about cross-functionality. So in a perfect environment, you'd have cross-functional teams. However, if you can't have cross-functional teams, then at least aim for cross-functional teams of teams. So basically, minimizing handoffs means getting all the people that have some sort of contribution to whatever value you're delivering. So within the value chain that you're delivering, sitting together, having deliveries together, trying to reach the same business goals together. If you have people from finance, people from sales, people from marketing, people from development, people from operational side that are not talking to each other, then probably you have a lot of handoffs. So one of the big things that and this comes from SAFe, is try to make sure that you get everybody from their silos, you put them together. This does not mean that you obliterate the hierarchy, right? So we still keep the hierarchy, but we organize ourselves in a way that we talk to each other. Because this is actually the big problem with handoffs. People don't talk to each other. They try to give themselves emails and think that's the best way of communicating. Nader, do you want to add something to this?
No, I think you covered it. There's not a lot that I can add. No,
you flatter me. Okay, so I think that's our time. I don't know about you guys, but this has been very fun. It's been really nice interacting with you. I personally loved the questions that you guys asked. Nader, anything that you want to add?
No, thank you. Thanks everybody for taking part. For those of you who attended, and of course all the questions and comments that you provided. Thanks very much.
It's great. Don't forget to subscribe to our next webinar. It's in 1 month. That's very nice of you, Sylvia. Thank you very much. And we'll be waiting for you into our next webinar. We'll be diving deeper into how to understand what is really going on the operational side, and how can we understand what is the real, let's say, big picture of what's going on. With that being said, thank you. Is in order.
Thanks everyone. Have a good evening. Bye.
Have a good evening. Bye.